I don't know. See, I've only been in Atlanta 2 years. What do you feel? Sad.
It's terrible. It ought to be like bread and circuses.
That's right. I agree. I think there's a lot of people out there agree with you. I think good dollar joint. You're right,
What
Bart.
this country needs right now.
A good dollar
because
joint.
There ain't going to be no revolution as long as everybody's strung out on stupid water and cocaine.
Right. Thank you, Bart.
Good night.
Bye, Bart. Let it out, people. Let it out. That's what we're here for. Let's go to Elise. Hey, Elise, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hi, David.
Wow, what a voice. you have a great voice, Elise.
Thanks.
You really do.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
I mean, I like it. It's not like that woman Melanie called earlier. that noise, that nasal noise. You have a great voice.
Well, you're going to hate this, but I agreed with a lot of what you said.
Kind of exciting to watch him, to listen to him. It's kind of neat. Everybody loves a winner. And right now, the Atlanta Braves are a winner. They could be going. They could be going. What do you think? Do you want to say anything about the Braves? If you don't feel, don't force yourself. If you have no comment about the Braves, nothing to say, no statements, nothing, don't force yourself. I enjoy the Braves, though. I enjoy the Falcons. But I can't stand college football. I can't stand college basketball. I can't, even if a team is winning, I don't like them. They're sloppy. They're not professional like pro sports, like football, like even the Atlanta Hawks. So I can't stand college anything. The athletes, when you see them on TV, they're stupid. They're taking up space in college. I understand a lot of them cheat. No, I can't stand college sports at all. But like the Atlanta Braves, I love them. I think they're doing great. Dave Justice up there, great. You people, they must be on a high. Could you imagine right now they're in their homes, pacing, just, oh, man, we're going to the World Series. They must be just walking back and forth on a high, just driving people nuts. Could you imagine that feeling, thinking the whole world could be looking at you in the World Series? This team must be feeling it. I couldn't imagine the high. What a high that must be. Not like last year, when these... pretend sports, college football. I understand it, starts tomorrow? What a waste. What a waste of time. What a waste of space. The Japanese passing us up in education. But, boy, we sure are good in football. Aren't we good in football? We take up those valuable seats in a college classroom, and we give them to idiots who are copying off the better students, morons who don't deserve to be there. They can barely write their first name. Big stupid guys. Right, playing a silly game. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy. That's not what college is all about. I can't stand college. People, when they start talking about college football or college anything, to me it's like talking about Little League. It's like talking about childish games. Getting excited over some high school football game or some high school basketball game or something. It's silly. It's a waste of time. Really is. But those Braves, that is a special feeling. Now, I don't necessarily want to talk about that. I want to talk about something else. I want to ask you a little deeper question. If that's okay. I wanted to get into something just a little heavier. I want to ask you about, I don't even know how to word it. I thought about it. I was sitting there tonight, sitting there in my chair at home, thinking about it. Wondering about how we're led. And not knowing we're led. You think there's laws. You think we have certain rights. Total freedom. But I wonder, do we have total freedom? Do we have total freedom? Or are we led around by the nose and don't even know it? How do we know? How do we know? How do we know we assume everything we see is correct, like this coup over in the Soviet Union. We assume this was on the up and up. We assume it was. We assume Elvis Presley's dead. We assume, we read it and we believe it. We believe it. We do believe it. But we're easily led. John Lennon's murder. We just assume this was some psycho went crazy and shot him. But how do we know? How do we know what's really going on? We don't know what's really going on. We don't know. You and I have no idea what's really going on in this country. I think, there are think tanks galore up there in Washington. All sorts of think tanks. These people are so smart. We're so educated. As such educated minds, it would be very easily to lead the masses. It is easy to lead the masses. It's easy to control the voters. What do? You put a third of the population on welfare. Now, a welfare person in the mail gets a little statement that says, I'm running for the United States Senate, or I'm running for Congress, or so-and-so is running for a certain position. I believe in a 15% increase in welfare. 15% increase immediately. Vote for me. I'll get you 15% increase on welfare. People that have no business being on welfare. Controlled. The voting is being controlled. It's being bought. This stuff happens all the time. All the time. A person on welfare has no business voting at all. No business at all voting. It's a noose around the rest of our necks. How do we know we're not being controlled by the taxes we pay? How do we know? You don't know. How do you know that there are people out there, think tanks, that say, well, to keep the masses in line, you've got to put 20 to 30% tax load on people. You've got to keep them, the majority of people, in kind of economically, they have to struggle. They have to have a hard time. This keeps them occupied. We keep stupid television shows on. We keep those going 24 hours a day to mentally, turn people into vegetables, or the masses, the majority of people into mental midgets. How do we know what is really going on? We don't know what's really going on. We assume, we think we know what's going on. But do we really know what is going on? How we're led. You go vote for a guy. Now, notice nothing. You put all lawyers in office. All lawyers. Now, if you've got a master committee up there and you wanted to implement certain laws, what would you do? You'd hire a bunch of lawyers. How do we know Congress and the Senate? We don't know what's going on. John Lennon's death. I wonder about these things. So many people on welfare were taxed so high. What's going on? What is really going on? Are we being controlled? Are we being led around and don't even know it? What is really, really going on? Can you follow what I'm saying at all? Okay, does this make any sense? Could any of this be true, that you and I are just being led? We're being led. There's a master plan out there somewhere, implemented by who knows who. They've turned the majority of the people. We need workers in this country, workers. We need the brains, and we need the workers to do what the brains tell us to do. We do. That's the way it works. So they keep the majority of people stupid. Is it just our education levels going down to nothing? We're not educating we're not educating the youth anymore. Could this be intentional? Could it be intentional? Could this have been some plan? They put it together and said, we have to keep the majority of people stupid. There's people now there's another, something else. There's an article. It was an article I read in the paper. I thought it was fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. Of how we're being controlled. Being led around. Don't even know it. We don't even know it. You and we're paying for it. We're paying for it. I think every move is calculated out. Everything this country goes through, the Soviet Union, the coup, I don't believe any of that. I believe the whole thing was a setup. The whole thing was a setup. I believe John Lennon's death was planned. This guy could have made waves. They probably had his apartment bugged, and no telling what John Lennon said in the privacy of his own home. They thought, well, this guy could possibly be a threat, so they wipe him out. Our own government does. To keep us all in line. There's in Arizona, we are being kept in line. You don't realize, right now, you may think that's crazy, Dave, but there's government agencies out there listening to us right now. They don't want us to get out of line. They go into churches. Government agencies go into churches. They go into your private club meetings. They infiltrate. In Arizona, they made a new ruling. Thou shalt not spy in church. It talks about unknown to church members, their worship services, Bible study classes, meetings, and discussions had been infiltrated by undercover government spies. The government wants to know exactly what you're up to. And then if they don't like what you're doing, they're going to stop you. They are going to stop you. You know, our government can get so out of control. In 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you and I could be paying 50% tax dollar. They're not educating the youth anymore because they want us stupid, because they just need people on assembly lines to put everything together. The ruling class and then us, and then you and I, we could be so far gone that there's nothing, not a thing you're going to do about it. Not a thing you're going to do about it. You can't vote them into office. They're all crooks. They're all puppets. We're going to be such mental basket cases from what they're doing with, television. They control us by television. They control us. Tell us what to think. Man, what is going on out there? What is really going on out there? Do you know what's really going on out there? I think they're controlling us by religion. They control us by TV, with taxes, with booze. We're being controlled. We're being led. Does that make sense at all? At all? Does that follow me at all? Does anybody follow me? If so, I'd like to talk to you. I don't know. Just a thought, that's all. I was thinking about it. And that's about it. So what do you think? 872-0750 outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB Talk.
Atlanta's morning news. We really do things differently. At AM-750 WSB, our morning newscasts on the hour include business news information together with traffic reports and weather updates every 6 minutes. Nobody else covers Atlanta's morning news like AM-750 WSB, the news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
Driving a Honda says a lot about you. But where you buy it says even more. Honda, sure, anyone can give you a competitive price. But what about after the deal? Once I drive off the lot, I need service I can rely on. That's where the real advantage comes in. After all, later on down the road, that's exactly where I want my car. On the road. Not in a garage somewhere. Know what I mean? Honda Carland in Roswell.
Shine the lights on you, shine the lights on me. Keep your Bud Light shining for everyone to see. Shine the lights on this, shine the lights on that. Oh, shining all the others is where Bud Light's at.
Bud Light's clean, fresh taste won't fill you up and never lets you down.
You can taste it, you can feel it. You know you got it right. Everything.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Anybody that's a threat in this country is infiltrated. Anybody that there's even a remote possibility. A church infiltrated. According to these articles, government has and is, no kidding, I'm not making this up. They are bugging churches, bugging them to find out. They want to know exactly what is going on in churches. Now, this is scary. This is scary. Unless they just want absolute, total control. Absolute. 100%. And they want to nip it in the bud, more or less, before it ever gets started. It's kind of scary, isn't it? Kind of scary. But it's true. It's true. I think we're controlled from the minute we're born till the day we die. We have certain freedoms. I can go out here and start a dry cleaning business. I can do that. But I can't go out here and decide, hey, I think the government needs some work here. I think we need to change things around. I think we need to improve it. No. Next thing you know, Zap, you have a car wreck. You're history. You're over the side of a cliff on vacation with your family. Or like John Lennon, some psycho approaches you. Who knows? Who knows? Soviet Union, give me a break. Y'all eat that stuff up? Do you really? Do you swallow that? Do you swallow that? There's a master plan here someplace. When a country's fallen apart within, how do you bring it back together? How do you bring it back together? You create an enemy. You create an enemy. It joins you all together. Have something you can all unite to. They did it. Give me a break. Give me a break. Y'all gobble that stuff up? I think we put it together. We orchestrated it. Our CIA, our FBI, whatever. We put it together. All of it. I think it happens all the time. We're going to break up the Soviet Union. What does that make us? Number one, no competition. We're the biggest guy. We're the baddest guy on the block. They're already dividing up over there. Come on. You don't think we put that together? We're bright. We're the United States of America. 872-0750 outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB Talk. Let's go to the phones right now. And let's speak to Curtis. Hey, Curtis.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes, I'm here.
Turn your radio down, Curtis.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah, you got to have your radio down when you call in.
Okay.
Yeah, what's going on, Curtis?
Just 1 second. Let me turn it down.
No, okay, I'll put you back on hold, then. Put you back on hold. Let's go to Craig. Hey, Craig.
Hi, what's going on?
Hey, messing around, Craig.
You feeling kind of conspiratorial tonight?
No, I don't. I think it's crazy not to. I think there's a lot going on out there.
So what is this? Is this the Illuminati doing all this?
What are you talking about?
The Illuminati.
I have no idea who's doing it. Do you know who's doing it?
I don't. No, they haven't contacted me recently. But
Mm-hmm.
I know. That's just the. I think that's just the name assigned to the worldwide secret whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think it exists. The World Order, Trilateral Commission,
so just
David Rockefeller, and all that stuff. You don't believe in all that?
Just for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
What's the bottom line? Why?
The bottom line is
the people in charge. Why are they doing it?
The bottom line is you can't leave it up to chance. You can't leave it. You can't. It can't be a crapshoot out here. It can't. You can't let somebody, let's say like John Lennon, come up and say this is wrong. We need to motivate the people. We need to get everybody together. We need to straighten out this nonsense that's going on. I plan to run for United States Senate as soon as they make me a citizen. You can't leave it up to chance.
Oh, wait.
It has to be orchestrated.
I missed something a few years ago then. Lennon was going to run for Senate.
No, idiot. Pay attention. Let's go to Curtis. Hey, Curtis, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Yes, I'm here now.
Hey, Curtis.
How you doing there?
I'm doing good.
Yes, I believe in what you're saying there to some degree there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I look at some of the neighborhoods that I've lived in the past and
sure.
Notice the infiltration of drugs and that type of thing, and feel like they're in the past, and maybe to this point there could have been something done about it.
Sure.
And when we see the kids, because I have an 18-year-old, and when we see the kids, we scorn them and upset what they are, but America have made them what they are. They are a product of what, they've been made.
Mm-hmm.
And from the welfare system, this system is built to the point to where there's no one, there's got to be an upper class or lower class. No one, there's never going to be a complete employment, because if that was the case, then if you were competing for a job and I was competing for the same job, he would have to give me a certain amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I do believe that, we are, our lives are controlled.
Mm-hmm. See, there's a $1 trillion system out there, all right? $1 trillion system. You can't have a wrench thrown into the gears. It can't happen. And so, therefore, you and I have to be watched. Your churches have to be watched. This radio show has to be watched. You and your private life have to be watched. You have to be controlled. And you are, and I am. We are controlled. You get out of line, you have an accident.
Yes.
You have an accident. Your history. You're a memory. And I believe that. I believe that. I believe it. I don't believe this thing over Soviet Union. Do you believe that? Do you believe that?
No, I do not.
I mean, do you believe that just happened and
No, I do not.
you know, Yeltsin became a star and you believe all that?
No, I do not. I believe it's like a Hollywood strip, you know.
Yeah, there are think tanks that put this thing together. They put it together.
And from the CIA from long ago, from the Kennedys up to this point, you know, I've covered as much as I could, and the basis on kids getting Social Security numbers at birth.
At birth. You're right. At birth.
You know,
I'll keep an eye on you from the time you were born.
Right, when I didn't get my Social Security until I was 12.
666. Right. Something is going on.
Certainly.
Something is going on, and it's not left up to chance. Right?
Right.
And eventually you're going to be taxed 75%. We're all going to be taxed 75%. They're going to keep us in line. They'll keep us laughing or whatever, mentally controlled by stupid television shows.
That's right.
Right? They'll give us all the booze we can handle. They'll let the drugs come in.
That's right.
Right? They'll keep half the population on welfare so they can control the voting, right?
Right.
That's the way it works,
and
guy.
I was told that the British did this to China in the 1800s through the opium trade, and where the people were not necessarily they wasn't aware of what was happening because you get tied up into the drug thing, into the alcohol thing, and the same thing that the British did to China doing their tour of duty there.
Hey, thanks for the call.
All right, anytime.
All right, see ya. Yeah, why would government infiltrate churches? Why? Think about it. Why? 134. I think to governing, there's a lot more to laying out taxes, to putting us into space. Governing is hiring the best mind control experts and implementing their plan, controlling you. I believe it. It's happening. I believe it. Back to the phones. Talk to Hans. Hey, Hans.
How you doing?
Good.
Did you read the paper the other day about the irradiation plant they want to open up in Florida?
No.
It's this thing they send fruits and vegetables through, and I think some poultry and turkey, and they zap it with radiation, and then it kills the bacteria and stuff, and it keeps the fruits and vegetables fresh longer. And it's approved by the government. The FDA says, that's just fine. So they're going to send us radioactive apples and oranges if they open this place up. There are people trying to stop this place from opening up. The government says, that's just fine. Do what you want.
Interesting. Hey, thanks, Hans. Appreciate it, Hans. Bill in Tampa. Hey, Bill.
Hello?
Hey, Bill.
Hans is already suffering from salmonella of the brain.
No kidding. So what's going on, Bill?
Food. Well, Dave, first of all, I can see you're going to have a heck of a time getting this subject off the ground with these imbeciles that are calling in. You know what I'm saying? Not that
Can you follow me, Bill? Can you follow me?
Absolutely, Dave.
Do you wonder about it sometimes?
We're controlled from the day we're born, Dave.
Yeah, and what scares me is this no joke. When my parents bought a house, it is getting so bad. They bought a house for like 3% interest. If that even that high, 3% interest. It was nothing. I remember gasoline going for gas wars 20 cents a gallon and stuff, right? As a kid, I remember this. You and I are just being taxed to the eyeballs.
Dave, everybody used to own a home in this country.
Right, and it's going to get so far gone that you can't fight back because there's so many mechanisms in there, and everybody's infiltrated. Every group out there, you try to fight back and you disappear.
First of all, Dave, from the time we're born, most of the people are baptized. In this country, it happens to be Christian. They're baptized to a religion that they really don't even want to belong to. They know nothing about. If you came from another planet right now and you and I were talking, and I said, Dave, I want you to join this religion, and it's headed by this guy who wears a dress, and what you do is every time you meet him, you kiss the ring on his right hand. You'd say, you're out of your mind, wouldn't you?
Right.
Wouldn't you? I mean, and you'd say, well, what do the other guys around them dress like? You say, well, they wear white dresses.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I think religion is a major part of control.
I mean, it's a joke.
It mentally, it makes you guilty.
It's
makes
a
you
way
feel,
of controlling the poor.
It is. That is why they do not tax it. They want religion out there, but they are going to infiltrate it, and they do infiltrate it to make sure they're doing exactly what the government wants them to do.
And the funny thing about it, television advertising, I was watching an ad tonight, Dave. I didn't mind, sharing my toothpaste with my girlfriend or my wife. You've probably done that, right?
Yeah.
Now I see an ad tonight where they want us to share our athletes' foot medicine with our wives and girlfriends. Did you see that?
No, Bill. Didn't see it, Bill.
It's unbelievable.
Fascinating, Bill.
I mean, but here's the point, Dave.
Yeah.
These young people today, you probably read in the paper or heard on television about the SAT scores being the lowest they've been in history. We are raising a bunch of imbeciles.
But it makes me, is it intentional? Is it intentional?
If we handed them all a guitar when they were 14, they wouldn't care if they went any further in life. We could actually control their whole lives, Dave, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Well, see, you don't want a bunch of rocket scientists out here questioning what the hell is going on.
Absolutely.
You don't. And see, I believe you could educate people where they'd be a lot smarter than what they are. The schools could be 5 times probably better. They could spend a lot more money on it. But you don't want people out there questioning what is going on.
Absolutely.
You want people in a stupor. You want them watching Hogan's Family. You want them sitting home.
We've got them doing that now, Dave.
Right.
We've got them lining up. We've got them going to rock concerts, spending their last dollar. It's not even $10 anymore. Now they're paying $50 a ticket. They can't afford it. They're going deaf. The young people today, and I hate to keep picking on the young people, but it's too late for the older crowd. It's too late for me. It's too late for you. This younger group growing up, I really don't know where this country's going to be 25 years from now. I'm dead serious when I say that. The family is falling completely apart. There's no families left anymore. There's no loyalty amongst the family anymore. Everything's dollars and cents. And you're forced to by society. You are forced to go out and be corrupt. You're forced to cheat on your taxes. I am. I am forced to hate my ex-wife because of what the courts do to me. The laws, what the laws do to you, they actually make you a criminal. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I mean, you have no choice.
Who knows what laws we're breaking right now? There are so many laws
and you
out
know
there.
that they're monitoring your program.
Right, I'm probably instigating a riot here or something. No, I'm just all right, see you later, Bill.
Okay.
Bill, I'm just saying, what's going on? What is going on? Do we know? We don't know what's going on. We don't. To the phones and talk to John. Hey, John.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, John.
I like Bill's examples. I really do.
Yeah.
If he come down from outer space, he'd just be the perfect person to fit in that role, okay? And that's personal observation.
Well, I would think, you land in this country and you just look and observe what is going on, how high we're being taxed, the controls, the laws put over us. You would say, this is madness, people. This is madness.
Yeah, that's right. But you look at it the same way.
If you were in control, it's great. It's great.
Well, that's the way it is. It's divided among the groups. Who can serve best by controlling the rest? Just kind of a labeling and shelving process. That's why you get all these people on welfare and stuff.
Oh, that's intentional.
That's exactly right.
It isn't, because this is no joke. These people don't think this exists. But these people, they're mailing lists. These people are contacted. People on welfare are contacted.
Yeah, they are.
Before voting. They have buses picking them up. They're promised more money for their votes. Who would you vote for if you're on welfare and somebody says, I'm going to get you 15%?
Well,
who you'd vote for the guy saying, oh, no kidding, 15%?
Well, it's like when they got provided housing for them and stuff like that.
That's controlling the votes. That's
exactly
buying the votes.
Yeah, that is.
And it works. That way you can put anybody in office you want to put in office.
That's right.
Right.
Well, it's like you see movies of Russia and stuff, and everywhere you go, it's your papers, please. What happens every time you get pulled over in your car?
Your papers, please.
Exactly.
And they can pull you over right now for suspension.
They can pull you over for nothing.
They can suspect you for absolutely nothing.
That's right.
They can take you to jail for nothing.
Well, I had a situation like this once. My car matched the description of a felony battery one time, and I was followed by his police cruiser, and I thought, well, he's either going to pull me over or he isn't. Well, I was in for the surprise of my life. He pulls me over. I get over in this lot over by this hospital, and he pulls up. Another squad car pulls up. I mean, they come out, shotguns in hand, and the whole works. Get in. I got these spotlights from every one of these cars on me.
Great story.
I mean, it's just one of those things. And
it is one of those things, and I'm not interested, man. Not interested. Unfortunately, see, I'm not interested. See, you're so distracted. They do that, dude. This is what's going on. Exactly. My last caller. Exactly. They're distracting us. We're being distracted. They can distract us. The world can crumble, and you saw a great example of it recently. Flag burning. The mind out here. Screw the country's rivers and lakes and trees and what's going on to the people out here, the homeless and things like that. Screw those. But, I mean, that's America. That is really America. But somebody burns a flag. Now, Bush can come out here and talk about it. The Congress can talk about it. And you people just fall in line. You just swallow it. You swallow it. You're being mentally controlled. You don't even know it. But we are. We're being mentally controlled. To the phones. Let's go to Lefty. Hey, Lefty.
How you doing?
Good.
All right. I'm one of those young imbeciles Bill was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only 22 years old.
Okay.
But I agree with you 100% on everything you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is, got to think for yourself. If you follow what the government tells you to, then you're just going to be just like you said.
You can't help it. You can't help it. You can't help it. When the government, when you're single, and the government is taking 33% of your income, taking it. Now, what are you getting for it? What are you getting?
You ain't getting
what they're doing is the government. This is no joke. This country is their business. Their business. Now, at the end of the week or the end of the year, they look over and say, man, we made $7 billion. Well, we got to pay the bills. That comes to $1 billion. That leaves us a profit of $6 billion. Now, let's go out there and straighten out the rest of the world. Let's make all these other countries fall in line. We had a $6 trillion profit or whatever. And we're the business. You and I are the business. And if a machine gets out of line, it starts getting kind of it starts making the wrong part, or a union starts forming within the country, within this business. They just they nip it, man. They stop it.
Yeah, they run over you.
It happens all the time.
They run over you.
They run over you, and
right.
you know it, and you know it. And it's getting so bad you can't even do anything about it.
You can't.
It's so big. The government is so big that they will stop it. You become a threat, that's it. You no longer, next thing you know, you're found with 2 pounds of cocaine in your closet.
That's right.
Right?
That just knock you over.
Or one of your relatives is dead and you're being charged with murder.
Yeah.
No kidding. This stuff's real. See you later.
All righty.
Bye. Hey, James, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Yes, Paul. I must say you said something interesting tonight. First time caller.
Great, James.
A little nervous, but...
yeah, don't be nervous.
But we are controlled.
Yes.
I figured that out 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think from the time they put the rich and famous and the influential people in control, that the poor people no longer have any influence whatsoever. Now, I'm not exactly poor, but I'm not rich.
Right. Same here.
But I figured this out 20 years ago when I was going to college, that they don't teach you how to survive in the country. They teach you how to work for the other person.
Right.
I think that more people like you should be on the air to help people to realize how we are controlled through the advertising, through the people that are coming out of Harvard, and I admire Harvard and Yale and so forth, but those are the people that's actually controlling the country.
Right.
I mean, they are teaching us, they are putting the ads on the TVs, they are putting the ads in the papers, and so forth. So I admire what you said. I just wish you said it 24 hours a day and didn't say it at 1 o'clock at night.
But this is what's weird. When you realize it, and I realize it, and you realize it, what can you possibly do about it?
I think people like you can help wake people up.
No, but so what? I wake you up. So what? I woke you up. I told you, and you think, well, that's true, Dave. That is true. That is so big, and they're infiltrating, and they're so powerful. What can you possibly do about it? The government can be so corrupt, so corrupt. You know it's corrupt. We all know it's corrupt. But you can't do anything about it. You can't elect anybody. It doesn't make a difference.
We can if we try.
Well, no, you can. What can you do? What can you do?
If we can get the common everyday person to realize, and you are doing a good job of it now, to wake up and realize you don't elect the rich and influential. Why would a person destroy?
No, but see, you can't elect somebody they don't want elected. Next thing you know, they're pulling out that, hey, you smoked a joint in high school. Right? You smoked a joint, or somebody comes out and really slams you somehow, and you're thinking, this is not true. This is not true. And people, they don't want you. The other guy's got $1 billion behind him.
You're right, because they are so programmed, the small-minded person, that a small-minded person is going to go for whether you smoked a joint in high school or not.
Right, because you're being controlled. You're being controlled.
Exactly.
You're being controlled.
So I think that your program is great. I've been listening to you ever since I came from Florida, but the first time you provoked me to call was tonight.
Good.
You really got to me.
Good,
and
James.
I hope other people call, too.
Thanks, James. Bye, James.
Bye now.
872-0750. Outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Welcome, David Paul.
You're tuned to Off the Wall with David Paul on AM-750 WSB. Stimulating, entertaining, there's nothing else quite like it on the radio. To get on the air, call 872-0750. That's 872-0750. It's David Paul.
All I'm asking tonight, is there a lot more to our government than what we see? We assume all they do is go up there and make a few laws, and that's about it. But there are think tanks galore. People who know how to control the masses. I think you and I are controlled from the day we're born till the day we die. You get out of line, you become a threat, you're like John Lennon. You're history. I think it happens all the time. The government infiltrates churches. They send spies into churches to watch what is going on, to monitor what's going on. Why? Why? Are they that paranoid that they have to what difference does it make infiltrating a church? But they do it. The government infiltrates everything. Everything. To keep us in line. They take our money. They make sure you have just enough money to survive. They control your mind with stupid television, booze, religion. You are controlled. You are controlled. Out of line, history, man. It was nice knowing you. Nice knowing you. Happens all the time. I bet it all the time. This coup over in the Soviet Union, give me a break. Orchestrated by us. We put it together. We're the brains behind it. Let's motivate the people. Let's show them how to do it. Let's show them how to do it overnight. We'll show them how to do it. This is the plan. Do this. We did. Mind control. Control the masses. Don't let them get out of line. Keep them in debt. Scary. But it's true. I believe it's true. It is true. Or the government will get you. Wow. What can you do about it? I really believe, this is not the way it was set up. I thought the way this government was set up was just the people could stand up against it, and we could change. We could change it if we had to change. It would change with time. We could change it. It's not that way anymore. You can't change it. You think you are doing something by sending some new politician up there. You're not doing anything. What are you doing? You haven't done anything. You're going to be taxed 50% eventually. Some of you already are. You're going to be taxed 50%. 50%. Television shows get geared to control you, put you in the right frame of mind. Religious leaders leading you. Putting a lot of guilt on you. Wow. And then one day we're all going to realize, hey, this is crazy. We're already realizing this is crazy. Something's going wrong here. Something is wrong. There's something just not right. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. It is so big. And it's like Soviet Union. You know, they say Soviet Union, you speak out, or used to be, you speak out, next thing you know, they're picking you up at night, and you disappear. You're never seen again. As if that doesn't happen here. I think it happens here all the time. You're in a car wreck. You're busted for heroin possession. You're charged with murdering your sister. Yeah, all the time. Control. It is so big. There's so many trillions of dollars out there. You can't leave it up to chance. You can't let the masses go crazy. Control. Think tanks. People, they study them. They know. You know it. And I think you know it. I think you realize it. I do. I think you realize it. Hey, Chip, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Great. I'm really glad to be on finally, Dave.
Hey, Chip.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, it's been a great show. I'm really impressed with your show, and I agree with you what you're talking about, because if you think, I work at this drugstore, and whenever someone wants to buy something with credit card or check, you have to write their social security number, birth date, and all this so they can check it up with their files. From the information they got at Blockbuster Video or something about the kind of videos they get so they can cross-reference it with all kinds of other stuff. I mean, we're in a state
Oh,
where...
yeah, everything is computerized.
Oh, yeah, it's really scary. We're in a state where it's illegal to cut your dog's toenails. I don't know if you knew about that.
No, I didn't know
You
that.
have to have a license to do that. I mean, can you believe that?
No, I can't believe it.
Isn't that just awful?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a scary situation.
You have
Very scary.
no freedom.
And the thing is, it's that we're all stupid. I mean, not speaking of me and you, but I'm talking about the...
no, you and I are. We are led. We are led.
We are led. You're right.
We are led.
But
and we're made, and we can put men on the moon. All right, we can build.
Well, I mean, that's been debated too. I mean, I think we.
Oh,
can,
that has. You're right. That has been debated.
That could be part of that whole giant.
But I think we can do anything. We're a very advanced society. We're the most advanced society to ever exist. We're a very rich society. But for some reason, we don't want to educate the youth anymore.
Oh yeah.
We want to keep them at a certain level.
Oh, definitely, so that they can be controlled. I mean,
they can be controlled.
How stupid the
An
people
ignorant man is easily controlled.
Oh, yeah.
An intelligent man questions why.
No doubt about that.
Right.
That's true. You know, Saturday night, people were calling up, and they were all believing this stuff you were talking about. Well, I don't know. I don't think you were being for real about pregnant women being ugly and all this.
No, being teachers.
Yeah, being teachers, that's right. Well, you know, they bought it, and they're all, you know, no one called up when you're talking about Thomas Edison and the Model T. You know, they're just stupid. I mean, you know, I'm impressed with your brilliance there. That's, I mean, well.
All right, Chip. All right, thanks for the call,
well,
Chip.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. My friend Hans called up, and I was going to call and talk to him afterwards. You know, the guy was talking about nuked vegetables or something.
Right.
I called up, and he wasn't at home. He woke up his mother. It wasn't a good thing. You know, so you got to be careful when you call people who call David Paul. They might not be calling from
Right, Chip. Fantastic. Yeah, great call. Yeah, right. Let's go to John. Hey, John.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, Dave?
Good, John.
All right. Hey, listen, I know exactly what you're talking about. See, I'm 19 years old.
Right.
And I'm scared to grow up, you know?
What do you mean scared? What are you, coward or something? What are you afraid of?
No, I'm just scared.
I mean, it's a fun life out there.
Yeah,
even though we're being...
But I'm talking about the government here.
Even though we're being controlled from the day we're born to the day we die.
Yeah, but see, I'm going up to the idea that the golden rule is whoever owns the gold makes the rules. You know?
Of course, of course.
And you know, the government's got all the money because it's taxes, and that's just not right because you're taking too much money.
No, we are a business.
Yeah.
We are a business, and the business of the United States. This year, let's say we made so many billions, right, or trillions, or whatever it is. We made so much money. And if they take a certain percentage, pay the bills, and they pocket the rest, and they spend it any way they choose.
Exactly.
And they go out in the rest of the world, and what they do with that money is, well, let's split up the Soviet Union today. I got an idea, and they contact the right people, they set it up, and they do it. That we control governments all over the world. You and I with our money.
Yeah, and see, and it all moves so fast, like the judicial system. You know, I get busted for something, right? And I want to plead not guilty, and then the guy tells me that if you plead not guilty, then you might get a $350 fine. You have to come back 3 times, this, that. But if you just plead guilty, you'll get a $90 fine.
Oh, I know. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time. See you later. Bye. Yeah, all the time. Hey, Ken, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Good morning, David.
Morning, Ken.
How you doing today?
Good.
You said that you wanted to change the system. What system are you talking about? The Constitution of the United States and all the federal republics we have?
All of it. I think start from scratch and do it all over again. I think whatever.
Is it anarchy?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think whatever they came up with 200 years ago or over 200 years ago, I think we're a much smarter people than they were 200 years ago. I think we could come up with a better system.
I think they're more smarter than we are now.
Well, probably. Okay, that's debatable. Yeah, you're right. They probably are.
Are you trying to scare everybody in this country?
Why am I scaring anybody? Who am I scaring?
You sound like everybody.
Am I scaring you?
No, you try to make everybody sound like we're all paranoid, and you got spies in the churches. What for? Anybody
true.
walk in a church and listen?
That is true. There are spies in the church.
Well, let them listen.
No, they infiltrate to keep you and make sure you're not getting out of line.
They fly. They got satellites that can watch you and photograph your car and you.
Yep, that's right.
Smile, you're on Hubble scope type thing.
That is you're absolutely right. They can pinpoint you in your backyard.
Well, right, but what's to be scared of?
What do you mean, what's to be scared of?
You got God on your side. What are you afraid of?
I've got God on my side.
Right.
God's on their side too.
Right. But
give me. What are you talking about? Well, no, I'm not.
I'm not. Ask you
I'm not scared. If I was scared, I wouldn't be talking about
it. Sounds like you're advocating anarchy.
No, I'm not. Not at all. Not at all.
Well, we got a constitution with has everybody, all the states with federal republics.
Right.
And you're still in charge.
We are.
Sure.
Charge of what?
You're still in charge of your own government. It's because you don't take advantage of it.
No, we're not. No, I don't think we're in control at all.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you write your senators and reps regularly?
Never.
You never write them?
I would not.
You're at fault.
I would not go out of my way.
Why?
Because it serves no purpose. It's meaningless.
How do you know you aren't meaningless?
I've never had a reason to write. Maybe if I thought, well, I think this bicycle ruling, this ruling about, riding bicycles on sidewalks within the city or something trivial like that, it might make a difference.
Dave, what's the last book you read? Other than comic books?
No, the last book I read, You Can Negotiate Anything.
Okay. I read Shadows of Power by James Perloff. What's the next book you read besides that?
Yeah, I can't remember the book before that.
Well, if you'd start reading, you'd be dangerous over there, you know what?
Yeah, I know.
You could really scare some people in this country.
Who am I trying to scare? What kind of work do you do, Kim?
What do I do? Right now I'm unemployed.
Uh-huh. What kind of work did you do? I don't know. I'm not trying to scare you. I hope I didn't scare you.
No, I'm not scared.
I'm trying to get people to question what is.
Okay.
Is that wrong to get people to question?
No. Go back a couple weeks, and Representative Foley's calling for an investigation on this October surprise, quote unquote thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to do it closed door. Okay, that should insult anybody listen to this radio station. They should demand an open door session.
Of course.
That's akin to secret trials in this country.
Mm-hmm.
He's an insulter.
Okay.
Write to Foley and tell him to have an open door session,
right?
So we can expose Bush's trip to Paris and his connections to the CCI bank.
Yeah, right. Cute. Okay, good.
Why you got to do that?
Okay, great. Well, I'll do that. All right, see you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye. 872-0750 outside of Atlanta. And let's talk to Al. Hey, Al.
Dave, how are you doing?
Good, Al.
Enjoy listening to your show.
Thanks.
I agree with you about the infiltration, and that's a scary concept. But don't you think the idea about the conspiracy to tax us so high is an excuse so that people can whine about how high their taxes are?
Well, they are high.
Well,
I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't call it whining. I'd call it dangum irritation. I'd call it highway robbery. I wouldn't call it whining.
I think there's reasons why it's high.
Well, yeah, so do I.
I think there's a need for defense, a need for Medicare, a need for Medicaid,
right,
and so forth, and need for exploration in NASA. And
right,
there are things that our money is going to, and I think that it's so easy for people not to
welfare. We got to have welfare.
Right, welfare. And I think it's so easy for people not to look at the issues, but instead to create some conspiracy or something so that we can whine about how we're giving away some of our money. It's a painful thing.
There are no conspiracies, are there? Why would a government infiltrate a church?
Well, I think you can distinguish between different conspiracies.
No, why would a government infiltrate a church? Why would they have somebody monitor the activities, bug churches? They do this. Now, I'm not making this up. They do this. They bug churches. Now Arizona's created a law saying they cannot do this. They are stopping government from bugging their churches.
Right.
Because government does bug churches. Why would a government do this? Now, I'm not creating a conspiracy here. I'm asking, why would they do it?
Well, as you said, they want to check up on the people.
Why?
Just to make sure nothing's going on.
Well, like what? What could be going on?
There could be some type of movement to overthrow the government or something like that.
Right. Right. There could be some movement going on within some Baptist church.
Like they used to worry about the Communist Party.
Right. Okay, yeah. Makes yeah, right, okay. Right. Could be some sort of movement. Now, there's no conspiracy, is there? There's nothing to question, is there? We're just a bunch of blind, dumb, and deaf people that shouldn't question anything, should we?
I certainly think we should question, but I think
you should question everything.
Including ourselves.
Including ourselves.
Including our motives for wondering if there is a conspiracy, to see if we're trying to create an excuse.
Well, what do you think? You think that's what the motive is here? We're just trying to come up with an excuse?
I do.
Maybe what's wrong with trying to come up with an excuse? What's wrong with trying to analyze and trying to excuse, trying to find the reason behind? What's wrong with that?
Well,
you shouldn't question. See, you're a typical sheep that this government loves. Don't question anything, right? Go out there and do your 9-to-5 job or whatever it is. Go home and watch your Golden Girls TV show. Drink your 6-pack of beer and go to bed and start the next day all over again. And don't question anything. You're a sucker. The government loves you.
If I'm not questioning anything, I'm questioning you right now. I'm questioning the whole thing. I'm not trying to say you have a totally bad argument. What I'm trying to say is I think in questioning things, we should question our own motivations and make sure we're not unnecessarily giving the blame to somebody else. And sure, we should look at it and we should analyze it, but at the same time, we should look at our own motivations.
Look at our own motivations.
For wondering if there is a conspiracy.
Right. So never question. There could be a conspiracy going on, right? But you would never look at it because you'd be too busy investigating yourself. You'd be too busy looking in the mirror at yourself to realize, hell, there's a conspiracy going on. You'd never look at it because you're trying to analyze yourself.
You can do both.
Right. You can't. Well, I don't know if you can. I think I could, but I don't think you can. Thanks for the call. John, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good, John.
I'm calling from Jacksonville, Florida.
Great.
I get to hear you better while I'm waiting to talk to you.
Okay.
Well, I agree with you totally. I mean, I just happen to be going through my radio dial listening to different talk shows.
Yeah.
And when I hit yours, I said, this is the only guy talking about anything. These other guys are talking about pay-per-view sport things, you know, and that's... The people of this country are more interested in sports than they are in what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, they're more interested in flag burning than some guy killing a river, some corporation killing a river.
Sure.
The real country, screw the real country. Flag burners, let's hang the guy.
Yeah,
something that really doesn't matter.
That's because we're controlled, like you said.
We are controlled. And we're controlled by experts, people that control you, and you don't even know it.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a George Bush or a Ronald Reagan. You know,
I think they're
the people that are always there when the presidents come and go.
Well,
right?
I think there's. I don't know. We don't understand what's going on. I have no idea where the control is coming from.
Well, if you travel different countries, you probably have, you'll see a lot of it going on in other countries, and you fail to see it in your own sometimes. But I'll tell you, lately, I've really been seeing what's going on, and every time that you start to get aware, somebody's there to slap you around.
Oh yeah,
somehow or another.
See why?
I mean, you know, like the big issue now. A good thing to catch somebody on or to get them out of their way is to accuse them of child molestation. You see that stuff going on all the time. You know those people aren't guilty sometimes.
You can't argue it. Now, you're absolutely right. Suppose I was to get out of control here. Speak the truth, became a threat or something. Right. Next thing you know, you're absolutely right. You would read that in the paper within a week.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Child molestation and
David Paul caught molesting a child.
Right. Or picking up a 16-year-old boy on Peachtree or something, right?
Exactly.
You'll read that, right? Now, I'm gone, and you can't defend it, right?
This is what's always happened. It happened in Germany.
You can't
defend it. We've given up all kinds of rights.
Right.
You know? It's just because nobody wants to look at that. They'd rather watch the football.
Right.
Or, something like that. The other guy that was going on and on about the school and the SATs and all, I mean, I don't know who it was that said it, a very famous man, said college is great, but don't let it stand in the way of your education. Nobody's getting educated. People are going to school. They're not being taught anything.
But see, you have to question that also. Is there a reason for that?
I think you're right. I think there is a reason for it.
Yes.
You said there is a reason, right?
I think there is a reason.
I think there is,
you have to question it all. We are an extremely bright country. We've achieved a lot. I don't think there's anything we couldn't conquer unless we didn't want to conquer it.
Unless we're too bemuddled to pay attention.
Right, we are.
Even want to conquer.
And we are.
We can't read,
No, right.
I can because I went to school when they were still teaching.
Right.
a little bit about reading. But most people can't read when they get out of high school these days.
Scary.
50% dropout rate.
Scary.
So, yes, it's scary. And the man that said, what are you trying to start anarchy here? He's not afraid. I'm afraid because I like freedom, which we don't have much of. And I'm afraid that we're going to lose what little we have left.
You can't have freedom when people are ignorant. If you have an ignorant country, the masses are ignorant, you've lost your freedom.
That's right.
Right. Hey, see you later.
Thanks.
Bye. Okay, let's go to Chuck. Hey, Chuck, you're on AM-750 WSB.
How you doing, Dave?
Good, Chuck.
How you doing?
Good.
I just want to say, you were talking about earlier, I just want to say about the college sports. I don't like them either. I like the Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Braves. I just want to get that.
Same here.
I just want to get that old saying that you used to hear about a couple of years ago about this could be the year.
Yeah.
I won't mean you be the first one to get it started this year. And I just want everybody to know, if you know God, then you're truly wealthy. See you, Dave.
Right. 872-0750 outside of Atlanta. 1-800-WSB-TALK. You know. Whoa. All right. Enough of that. Let's go to Robert. Hey, Robert.
Yeah, hi, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, good.
Hey, I agree with you totally. We do not live in a free country anymore. I mean, you look at the Russians, we always condemn them because they have one political party. I mean, we, for all practical purposes, all we have is two. We've got the Republicans, we got the Democrats. Nobody else gets any airtime on the TV.
They won't even recognize them in debates.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you look at it on TV, if you watch C-SPAN at night when Congress is voting on anything, you always see Republican, Democrat, and other. And I think that's one guy up in Vermont. He's a socialist or whatever that they elected. I think he may have been an independent or a socialist.
I think you have freedoms in this country. You have limited freedoms.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't have the freedom to change what's going on.
Yeah, you had a caller earlier talking about how if you've been outside the country, you can actually look back at your own country and see it for a little bit clearer for what it is. I lived in Germany. I mean, Germany's got about 10 or 12 political parties. I mean, we've got two for all practical purpose, and you're talking about how all the rich control in the country. I mean, I agree completely. You see it every day. I mean, they elect these puppets like George Bush to the country, and, let him become president and everything. And these guys just, they sit here and go like, Canadian Free Trade Zone, we're going to have this now. Or, they make up their mind so much, say, we're not going to lose jobs to Mexico. Well, if you look down and you look at it already, GM's already moving to Mexico, So you wonder who's really controlling our presidents. That's what makes me always wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've agreed with just about everything you said tonight.
I think you're crazy if you don't question.
Yeah, I mean, if you can read, you're right about, the children not being educated enough or what they can read, You had that one caller talking about reading everything, how he was questioning you for what book you've been reading.
Right.
You don't have to read every book. I mean, if you read newspaper articles and look into them in depth and you've got any, facsimile of intelligence, you can question things yourself,
Sure. Well, I question everything.
Yeah.
You have to question everything.
Yeah, that's why I like to listen to you. I mean, because you come up with some excellent topics and make me think about everything I hear on your show.
Oh, good. Thanks. See you later.
Yeah, see you, Dad.
Bye, man. Let's go to Clyde. Hey, Clyde.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I wanted to tell you I really think you're on top of everything tonight. I mean, people don't realize I went on disability about 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
They gave me a report on my Social Security. They told me how much I made 20 years back, places I worked I didn't even realize. And then people don't realize I was up in North Carolina about 2 or 3 months ago. I had a little, they stopped me. They thought I was drunk and driving because due to my disability I can't walk too good and so forth. They got on a telephone right there in their car. They take my driver's license associated with my Social Security number. They called in, and in less than 10 minutes, they knowed my history of everything. And 10 minutes, they knowed me, my history of 20 or 30 years of my life. And I just think Big Brother's done taken us over. Don't you, David?
Yeah, I do. I mean, you have no privacy anymore.
That's right.
No privacy. They can look in your records and tell you where you buy your gas, if you buy it on a charge card, the movies you've rented, everything. Everything about you.
You are right, David.
It's scary. It's scary. See you later, Clyde.
Thank you, David.
All right, man. All right, let's go to Amy. Hey, Amy, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hey, Dave.
Dave. What are you doing?
Hey, messing around.
I always say that, don't I?
Yeah.
You know what pissed me out the other day?
No, what?
A friend of mine called me up. He calls you up all the time, and he always uses aliases
Yeah.
to talk to you because he's embarrassed. I mean, what in the world is to be embarrassed
Yeah,
about
it's a
calling
real
you up?
easy thing to do.
I mean, what's the big deal?
Right.
So anyway, he calls me up, and he always say, right when you're in a hurry, I know that. And he says, well, what are you calling up Big Paul giving him your sob story for? I said, I wasn't giving him a sob story. I was giving him the honest to God's truth, I mean, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Dave.
No, I don't know.
Well, what do you think?
That's what I think, Amy. I think you're absolutely right, Amy.
Am I not right or not?
No, you're right, Amy.
Well, I mean, what's his deal? He listens to you all the time, and he's like, well, I call Dave all the time, but I'm embarrassed to give him my name, and he always gives you different names. And
Amy,
what?
You called me up to tell me this.
Yeah.
You waited on hold to share this with me.
No, not only that.
I'm talking about
something. I also had another topic I was going to talk about.
Another topic?
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious, like, what?
Well, I found a kitten.
You found a kitten?
A cat.
Amy, you bring...
No, Dave, this is serious.
No, this is not... No, I'm not talking about a stupid flea-carrying cat.
No, it doesn't have fleas.
I've got something else going on here, Amy.
What? What was y'all's topic tonight? I didn't even get it.
Goodbye, Amy. I'm banning all women. That's it. That's sometimes I wonder, and this is a legit worry. Wonder. This is not no worry, but a wonder. If woman was not given equality, this country, our IQ level, our the ambition we had, the accomplishment of this country was all done before woman had the vote. Now, if you wanted to control a country, you'd bring the, how do I word it? I don't know. What you do is, I'm afraid I'm going to insult all women. I'm going to be very careful, but, you'd bring the overall IQ level way down, right? If you pushed women and made them equal in business, equal everywhere, right? Because let's face it, women are not on the same level as us guys. They're not. Man made this lousy country. We made this country. So to control the masses and take the whole general IQ level of the entire public out there, and if you wanted to control them and bring it down a little bit, well, you'd force women you'd force women in business. You'd force women everywhere, and it'd bring the overall entire level way down. Question it. I do.
Atlanta's Morning News. We really do things differently. At AM-750 WSB, our morning newscasts on the half hour include Clark Howard with consumer advice and information, plus traffic and weather every 6 minutes. Nobody else covers Atlanta's morning news like AM-750 WSB, the news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
Hello?
Hey, this new car phone really works.
What? Who is this?
This is your engine. I'm calling you from the garage.
Can't this wait? It's 3 in the morning.
No, it can't wait. I've been doing a lot of thinking out here.
Oh, about what?
That gasoline you give me. You're always saying you want quick starts, smooth idle, and great acceleration, right?
Right.
Well, how am I supposed to give that to you if you don't give me the good stuff?
Listen to your engine. Crystal Clear Amoco Ultimate is refined an extra step for quality. And quality means performance.
So here's the deal. You give me quality, I give you performance.
Okay, you got it. Amoco Ultimate. Now, good night.
Amoco Ultimate. Your car knows.
Hello?
Joe's Pizza. I'll take a pepperoni with extra sauce.
Huh?
Oops. Sorry. Wrong number.
The Honda Civic is the number 2 car in North Georgia. You see, the Honda Accord is number 1. But in its class, no car in North Georgia outsells the Civic. So that makes the Honda Civic number 1.
According to R.L. Polk, Honda has the number 1 selling car in the Atlanta area.
the Accord, and the number 2 selling car, the Civic.
I think I just said that. But anyway, the Civic outsells every other small car in the Atlanta area, which makes it number 1, right? And for a very limited time, the number 2 car, which is really number 1, the Civic, will be going on sale.
For a very limited time, all of the 1991 Honda Civics are going on sale.
Right, I said that.
And they're going to go faster than any car in North Georgia.
Ooh, the fastest car in North Georgia. Well, then that makes the number 2 number 1 again, right?
You can save hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars, so hurry.
Wait a second. Now who's going to be number 1? Number 2?
At your North Georgia Honda dealers.
Or number 1?
The Honda Civic, the number 1, number 2
car
in North Georgia.
Now on sale.
Right.
Thank you.
To the phones. Let's go to, how about Tony? Hey, Tony.
Hey, good morning, Dave, and enjoying the program. Great topic this evening.
Thanks, Tony.
One thing that I find very interesting is that if you examine other countries that are either considered fascist or communist or dictatorial in any way, at least they were pretty out front about dragging people off at night and things like that. Here, it's been very hidden and very insidious down through the years. The whole issue of manipulation, I think, raises the question, what involvement does the media have? I think if we take a look at this whole issue of were we in a recession, are we in a recession, you hear the party line from Bush and Greenspan and all of these folks, and they're up in front of congressional committees saying, no, we're not in a recession. You got guys like Alphonse D'Amato saying, hey, buddy, listen, Greenspan, under the circumstances, I don't know what neighborhood you live in, but you're sure not living in my constituents' neighborhoods. I'm just curious, you being part of the media to a certain degree, what's your opinion? Is the media controlled by liberals or right-wingers or the government? What's your opinion?
Well, nobody controls me, but I have no idea what's going on out there. I just know at this particular radio station, the talk shows do whatever they feel like doing. That's all I know. I don't know about the newspapers or anything like that. I don't know.
Well,
what do you do? What do you do?
I'm an architect.
An architect? Okay, what do you think? How much control do you think the media has on your life?
Well, I'll tell you, I believe the media has a tremendous amount of sway over not only my own personal life, but, just about everyone around us. I think we're tremendously swayed by advertisements, by how the news is reported, what subtle slant is put on a news story, or what have you, and even what news stories are covered, both politically, religiously, or socially. I think we've seen a tremendous swing to the right, from a religious and conservative bent, and I'm not sure that this has necessarily served our country all that well. After the civil rights movement gained a tremendous amount of momentum, all of a sudden you've got Martin Luther King, being murdered, and
that makes you wonder too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Under the circumstances, I believe that it was interesting to me. So many conservative columnists and whatnot felt that newspapers were controlled by some sort of liberal journalistic bent, and the more you read today, I think you see it's swinging more and more to the right, to the point where I have to agree with you. I believe that we are becoming a nation of sheep, where we have lost a tremendous amount of control. I mean, I'm up working late tonight just to keep on making a buck here so that I can pay my outrageous mortgage and my taxes and whatnot. Here I was, this hippie kid who somehow got hooked into going from a hippie to a yuppie.
That was, as a hippie kid, you probably had ideals you don't have now.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
You had ambitions. You had goals. You had thoughts about this country, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That somehow just were forgotten about, and now you have the nice car and the nice house, and you have a completely different set of values.
Sure. My goal right now is to pay off all of my bills and return to a much more simplistic, materialistic lifestyle. I refuse to be a slave to the plastic like I was for the last 15 to 20 years. I find it most interesting. You take a guy like Jerry Rubin, who went from a yippie to a yuppie. Here, this guy is making probably 3 times what I'm pulling in a year, and I don't make a bad buck. So, I mean, somewhere he got swayed. Where was it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you get caught up in it.
Absolutely.
You slowly, the money starts taking over.
And what kind of scares me is when I hear some of these college kids that call into your show from tech and what have you, and especially the guy who said, well, you know, taking the SAT is a really big deal and all that. I couldn't agree with you more. I'll tell you, I took my SATs and the ACTs, and it didn't do me a hill of beans other than to get me into a darn good school. And it certainly didn't do much to improve my social life or any other aspect of my life.
No.
It wasn't worth anything.
No. Oh, it's scary. It's you know, and I notice a lot about the college kids out there. They don't have at all what the college kids had 15 years ago. College kids 15 years ago had a desire of change, right? They had some sort of motivation. They lost it. I think eventually they lost it. They got caught like Jerry Rubin. But a lot of these college kids never had it to begin with.
Well, one last
if you talk to them, it's always money. It's always money. That is nothing government, nothing country or anything like that. It's money.
Well, they, in my opinion, have been hooked into the Alex Keaton syndrome. You know, money is their driving force. You know, anything monetarily and materialistic. And you know, I'll give you a very brief example here. My activism started back in high school. And by that I mean there were 3 teachers that were going to be fired because of their anti-war activities and whatnot. Our whole school had an entire walkout, and I lived up north, obviously, at the time. And what happened there was that these people were eventually reinstated with full pay in the whole 9 yards. And then starting out at activism at the age of 14. You know, my God, I don't know of hardly any activists at the age of 14, let alone at 24 or 34 anymore. I've enjoyed the program. I'm going to keep on listening.
Yeah, good talking to you, Tony.
Yeah.
See you. 872-0750 outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB Talk. Don't forget you Bell South Mobility customers. You can call us free, 872-0750, a free call from Bell South.
AM-750 WSB, where our entertaining and informative talk shows are a great change of pace when you get bored with the same old songs over and over and over on FM. And at AM-750 WSB, if news breaks out, we'll break in. That's something FM stations just can't do, just won't do. Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station, AM-750 WSB. Depend on it.
Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. If they're asleep, give them a nudge. Tell them, wake up, because here comes the judge. Here comes the judge.
Here comes the judge, Georgia. Judge Walker and the People's Court are back at 5:30 on Channel 2.
Here comes the judge. Watch Action News at 5. Then don't budge. Better stay tuned, because here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Here comes
the People's Court, right after Channel 2 Action News at 5.
Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge.
Coverage gives us the edge. Teamwork sets us apart. And it's our people that make us unique. In the history of Georgia television, there's never been a team this deep, this strong, this experienced. Monica Kaufman, Don Farmer, Chris Curl, Richard Belcher, Pam Martin. Coverage you can count on. Channel 2 Action News.
What a disgrace, getting drunk like that at your sister's graduation party. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You can preach.
A drinking problem. He's only 14. He doesn't have a drinking problem. It's a phase.
You can deny.
If you come home drunk again, mister, you are gone out of my house. And don't think I won't do it. Do you hear me?
Threaten?
You have got to stop. I'm begging you. Please.
Beg?
You're a drunk. Just look at you. Look at you. A drunk. I'm drunk!
Or yell. But if your son or daughter has a drinking problem, the best thing you can do is call. With the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, we help thousands of people every year. Call us at 1-800-475-HOPE. That's 1-800-475-HOPE. Get through to us, and we'll help you get through to them. Just don't give up. This public service message brought to you by the National Citizens Commission on Alcoholism and the Advertising Council.
Now, just great. Just great. No bumper music. All right, where is it? Where is it? Oh, man, gotta have... Hold on, let me find another bumper music. Gotta have the bumper music. All right, there it is. I think it should work now. Just great. Just great. All right. Why don't we go to the phone And on the hotline here, we've got Mark. Hey, Mark.
David Paul.
Mark.
Just absolutely, this is disgusting.
What is, Mark?
It never fails. Every time you do a show on the government, you get all these little anarchists, the little revolutionaries, come out of the closet, and they're ready to change everything.
No, I think you have concerned real Americans.
Dave, let me tell you something. It's obvious. See, when I listen to shows like this, how many times have you heard tonight morons call in and say, Dave, people just don't realize. I've heard that 20 times. Now, why is it that they are the ones that realize what's going on, but people like me aren't? It's not, right? They don't know what they're talking about.
No, I know. I think there's things I know, Mark, that you don't know, just like there's things you know that I don't know.
Like
so
what?
therefore, I realize what's really going on. So I realize it and you don't.
This is what I realize, Dave. 39 states put George Bush where he is. 49 states put Ronald Reagan there.
Right, because he was colorful and he had great people behind him and they bought the election, right?
Who put him there?
Republican Party.
And voters. People just like me.
And the best consultants money can buy.
You better believe it.
You
but
better
you see,
believe it.
But you see, are you that dumb to be swayed just by money? Whose problem is that?
Yes,
is that mine or is it yours?
Well,
well, there is no answer to that because
hey, Mark, you're an up guy. What did they apologize? The guy that died, what did he apologize to Dukakis for? For slamming him, for lying about him. The guy that died.
Lee Atwater?
Yeah, what did he apologize to Dukakis right before?
Dave, let me
No,
tell
I mean,
you.
this is George Bush. This guy worked for George Bush, right? I can't recall what it was exactly, Mark, but that's the kind of campaign it did happen.
It didn't happen. You're just like the rest of the media.
No, it did happen, Mark.
You put this left slant on
corrupt.
everything.
It's just it's buying election. It's stealing it. It's lying about your opponent.
You know, let me tell you, Dave. You know why Dukakis lost?
That's America. That's America.
Maybe because he's in the ACLU. Maybe because he looks like Casey Kasem. Maybe because this guy's got the IQ of a box of soap. And nobody wants him to run this country.
Well, who cares about Dukakis? Who cares about Dukakis?
Right, and he goes out and picks Jimmy Stewart to run with him.
All right.
That isn't what's going to run this country.
All right, Mark. So what's your problem?
This United States of America is conservative. Like it or not.
Right.
Like it or not. Go back and look and see how many Democrats have actually run this country, Dave. Go back and look. Been over 40 presidents. Lucky to have 15.
I know. We had President Kennedy until the Republicans shot him.
Well, see, back then, a Democrat isn't close to what a Democrat is today.
Well, we had President Kennedy until
he messed up.
Until they shot him.
That's right. Well, we had Abraham.
Until our own government got rid of him.
Now, why do you just mention Kennedy and not mention Abraham Lincoln? Wasn't he a Republican? Didn't he take a bullet?
Well, there was 4 presidents that died in office, right?
Well,
4 that died, and I think they were probably they were probably food poisoned.
The majority of them would be Democrats because they need to be dead.
Right.
Dave, they're morons.
No, is that it?
You people sit here, and Dave, I'm so sick of hearing about this. Poor don't have a say.
No, they have all the say. They're the ones that put the president and the congressman into office. Their votes can be bought.
What are you talking about,
The
Dave?
welfare people control.
You mean to tell me the people on welfare vote for Republicans?
Well, it's like
Dave, that doesn't make any sense. Republicans are the ones cutting the program.
No, they vote for Congress.
Dave, you don't...
Congress. They put the people in Congress.
Dave,
right.
You've absolutely walked into territory.
In the Democratic Congress.
Right, Dave.
That's because these guys. Oh, give me, Mark. You act like this.
Dave, do we spend more money now than we?
You're 21 years old. You're naive. You're a naive child.
You're telling me that.
I feel like I'm babysitting you.
But when I listen to this show, I'm listening to a guy that should be talking about nose hair, so women could call in because it's obvious they can't communicate on this level. And you come out and you talk about this stuff, and you can't carry it. You get these morons. That last guy, where was he from?
The last guy?
He was
bright guy.
He was another guy that thought he knows it all. He just thinks he knows it all. But where are these presidents being elected from? Who's putting them in office? And
how do you know?
Dave, let me tell you something.
No, I mean, let me ask you something. How do you know that the votes are actually counted? How do you? They're all on computers now. How do you? No, Mark, quit being so naive. How do you know?
Listen, Dave. Do you want a coup? Well, don't you think if the majority of this country voted for Mike Dukakis, there might have been something done about it? Don't you believe that? And you look at the Soviet Union; they had to have a coup. People like you bought.
There was no coup. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I said earlier I didn't buy it.
Well, I wasn't listening.
I didn't buy it. The whole thing was a setup by the United States of America.
Oh, Dave, you're real.
It was a setup.
Okay, explain it. Why do you
Explain
think
what?
Why was it a setup?
Well, we wanted all the Baltic states to separate. We want to make the Soviet Union.
Dave,
We want the Soviet Union where it's not near. We want the Soviet Union where it's not near as powerful, and there's no threat to the United States.
Dave,
So we worked out this deal with Yeltsin to make him a real powerful guy, where his public would recognize him over Gorbachev.
Dave,
We'll get rid of Gorbachev, and it worked. It was a great idea. The guy looks like a hero.
You sleeping with Sam Donaldson. That's the most pathetic line I've ever heard. This is what happened. The Soviet Union, how much money did they get from the economic summit about a month ago?
I don't know. How
Month and a
much?
half ago. Walked away with absolutely nothing. You know
Uh-huh. Why?
Because they're communist, socialist, scum. We're not going to give them anything. Nobody else is going to give them anything. So what they have to do is go back home and think of something to prove to the rest of the world that they're trying to change. And they have a coup. The first thing you do when you have a coup is shut people like you up. You got to shut the media up, right?
And no.
It was on CNN as it happened.
No,
That's
Mark.
not a coup. That was fake. And it's fake because they want our money. We didn't set it up. And you see people like Australia and Great Britain, well, they bought the crap. But leave it to this conservative country ran by Republicans, we're not going to buy it. Right?
That's right, Mark.
And Dave, you sit here, and I've even heard people mention the SAT tonight.
Right, worthless.
Slamming the youth of today.
Worthless. No, I'm not slamming the youth. I'm slamming
Dave,
SAT.
you clearly just told that last moron that called in
Yeah.
that we don't want
Oh, that is true. That is true. See,
That's the dumbest
Mark,
thing.
you were the one that's always talking money, Mark. See, in his generation, when he was a youth, in
He was
his
smoking
generation,
pot. He was
in
at
his
Woodstock.
generation, no, they
he was
can't.
stoned. He was painting stuff and throwing flowers in people's hair. That's what you people did, and this is what we get. And you sat there and said that you and him changed it. 15 years ago, people were concerned with change.
No.
Well,
We
is this what they
had
changed?
other things in mind,
Dave,
Mark.
Is this what they changed it to? Don't blame it on us. Dave?
There's nothing to blame on you because you haven't done anything.
We only run this country.
You haven't done anything, Mark.
Dave, the youth run this country.
The youth run this country.
People
All right,
20,
Mark.
25 and
Mark,
less, Dave.
Gotta go, Mark. See you later, Mark.
See ya.
Bye, Mark. 872-0750. Outside of Atlanta, 1-800 WSB Talk.
Slowly to third down the line, fielded by Pendleton. He throws. Braves win. Atlanta wins. Move over, Dodgers. You've got company.
WSB Atlanta.
AM-750 WSB News Time of the Tone, 3 o'clock.
AP Network News. I'm Sean Anderson. 4 people are confirmed dead and perhaps as many as 7 have been killed after a subway train jumped the tracks in New York City. Officials say about 150 people have been injured. The accident occurred shortly after midnight Eastern Time as the train approached Manhattan's 14th Street Union Square station. AP's Barbara Goldberg has more.
People are being carried out on stretchers. There are a number of bodies that we've seen being carried out. There are people milling about with tags on alerting emergency workers to their injuries. There are a number of people that were heading home from work, going to work. They're bloodied, and they're in a state of shock.
One passenger says it sounded like an explosion. A transit authority spokesman says the lead car of the 10-car train slammed into a pillar. President Bush is maintaining his wait-and-see approach to diplomatic recognition for the Baltics, but at least one senator says the time to move is now. Michigan's Donald Riegel has submitted a petition urging President Bush to do so.
So the time for recognition is now, and clearly these three states, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, are different in terms of their historic situation from any of the other republics.
Aides to the president say U.S. recognition of the Baltics could come by the end of the week. Baltic independence is one of the top issues expected to be discussed by Bush and British Prime Minister John Major, who's arriving today at the president's seaside retreat in Maine. Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev is threatening to quit unless the Soviet republics maintain at least some sort of union, such as an economic and military alliance. Gorbachev is hinting he's willing to consider restructuring the Soviet Union as a loose alliance of sovereign states. The American Bar Association is giving Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas its mid-level rating of qualified. However, the White House seems to be pleased. AP's Jerry Bodlander is in Kennebunkport.
Marlon Fitzwater issued a written statement expressing pleasure that the ABA gave Judge Clarence Thomas a qualified rating. The statement goes on to say, as the president stated 2 months ago, Judge Thomas has excelled in everything he's attempted, and the president is confident Judge Thomas will serve on the court with distinction.
The last Supreme Court nominee to be given a simple qualified rating was Sandra Day O'Connor back in 1981. This is AP Network News. An environmental group claims DuPont is making false claims about its environmental record. That story from AP's Mike Hammer.
This is the commercial that shows the penguins and seals seeming to celebrate the news that DuPont will pioneer the use of double-hull tankers. But Brent Blackwelder of the environmental group Friends of the Earth says DuPont won't have its first 2 double-hull tankers in use until next year, and the rest of its fleet won't have double hulls until the end of the century.
The creatures of the sea hardly can be expected to jump up with applause for that.
DuPont's Bruce Carr denies that the ad is misleading.
We don't say anywhere in there that we already have them in place. We say that we have placed orders for them.
The environmental group calls DuPont the biggest corporate polluter in the country. The company says it's never tried to hide its environmental problems, but that it's working to fix them. Mike Hammer, AP Network News, Washington.
In the week-long hostage standoff at the federal prison in Talladega, Alabama, authorities used a salvo of explosive devices last night when the inmates got on the roof and displayed bedsheet banners. Banners claim the hostages are starving to death. Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average will stand at 3026. Yesterday, it dropped 13 points. In Tokyo, Wednesday's Nikkei stock average was down more than 19 points, finishing at 21,621. Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton says his family is ready to handle a presidential campaign. Here's more from Dennis Byrd.
A major stumbling block that kept Governor Bill Clinton of Arkansas out of the presidential race in 1988 is no longer present. Clinton says he didn't run in 1988 because of family considerations, but he says his wife and daughter have given him the go-ahead for a 1992 bid. However, Clinton points out that he still hasn't made up his mind whether he'll enter the 1992 Democratic primary. He has promised to announce his intentions by the end of September. Dennis Byrd, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Virginia Governor Douglas Wilder hasn't announced anything yet, but he's looking more like a Democratic presidential candidate every day. Wilder was in New Hampshire yesterday getting a handle on his chances for a White House bid.
When you talk to people and they say, listen, I voted for George Bush. I'm a Republican and I've supported the administration, but no more. I'm sick and tired of not having America looked out for. And, you know, I've been saying it for the last several months.
Former Massachusetts Senator Paul Tsongas is the only Democrat to declare so far. Sean Anderson, AP Network News.
There's always good things happening at Studebaker. Things happening at Studebaker. Out on the floor, feeling the beat. Party time every night of the week. There's always good things happening at Studebaker.
Come to Studebaker's Windy Hill tonight for Lippin' It Live, the Atlanta area's greatest lip sync contest. Join us as men and women don costumes and compete for $3,000 in cash prizes just for lipping their favorite tunes. Win an all-inclusive trip for two to Jamaica, courtesy of Air Jamaica, Swift Away Resorts, and Fantasy Tours. Tonight is also Ladies' Night with free admission for women and special drink prices for everyone all night long. And remember to come to Jackpot Thursday with a chance to win hundreds or thousands of dollars. So find your thrill tonight at Studebaker's Windy Hill, 1 mile west of I-75.
There's always good things happening at Studebaker. It's happening at Studebaker. It's happening at Studebaker. Good things happening at Studebaker.
This is Bob Glaskoff in the AM-750 WSB News Center. The Braves now share the lead in the National League West with Los Angeles. The Braves beat the Expos 3-2 Tuesday night to move into a tie for first. DeKalb County Commissioner Hosea Williams was freed on $10,000 bond after calling a felony indictment against him a vicious political ploy. The veteran civil rights leader is charged with leaving the scene of an accident, turned himself in Tuesday night, and surrendered his driver's license. Earlier, after attending a commission meeting, he said DeKalb County District Attorney Bob Wilson had never charged anybody else for what he called a fender bender. DeKalb County may have to live with a smaller budget or raise tax rates next year. Finance Director David Joyner says preliminary figures show property tax revenues may be down.
There actually may be a decline from the information they have now in residential property values based on the sales information.
Preliminary estimates show a 4% drop in the county tax digest next year, but Finance Department figures also project a $12 million increase in county expenses. A House committee adopted a congressional redistricting plan Tuesday that protects agricultural and military interests and throws the home base of Republican Newt Gingrich into a heavily rural Democratic district. The House Reapportionment Committee plan increases the number of majority black districts from 1 to 2 and creates a black influence district in southwest Georgia. A Smyrna official throws cold water on talk of an out-of-court settlement to let the city's only strip club keep operating. This, as a federal judge waits for both sides to file briefs. AM-750 WSB's Eric Taylor has details.
The Platinum Plus Club had been dangling a deal in front of city officials. Owner B. Don Gravely had offered to drop his suit against Smyrna if it granted him a liquor license. That deal fizzled out, and Councilman Jim Hawkins says just as well.
We're not going to just give in to him and write him a blank check, and he's just asking us to abdicate to his will, and that's not going to happen.
Hawkins points to the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that lets communities outlaw nude dancing. He says Smyrna's had ordinances against that for years.
Now that the federal courts say we have a right to enforce them, we're going to enforce them. And that's the reason I say that as long as he has nude dancing, I'm going to stand on that ordinance, and I'll never give in to giving him a liquor license, and I don't think the council will.
Eric Taylor, AM-750 WSB News.
AM-750 WSB, the only station with our own helicopter and airplane. Depend on Skycopter, Skyplane traffic. Now Atlanta's most accurate weather with WSB meteorologist Kirk Mellish.
Although you cannot completely rule out an afternoon or overnight thunder shower the next several days, they will be few and far between. The WSB exclusive 5-day forecast, overnight mainly cloudy, some fog possible again by sunrise, low near 71. Later today, breaks in the clouds and warmer, high 89, low 71. And the extended outlook Thursday through Saturday, partly sunny, hazy, hot, and humid, with a thunder shower possible again Saturday, highs 90, low 70. I'm meteorologist Kirk Mellish in the AM-750 WSB Weather Center.
WSB talk show host David Paul is next. I'm Bob Glaskoff. And if news breaks out, we'll break in. This is Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station, AM-750 WSB. Depend on it.